In the dark, we keep their light alive. We tell their stories. This is the Dark Nordic. There is an island in the Baltic Sea where the medieval walls still stand and the cobblestones still ring under your feet just as they did 1,000 years ago. Where summers are long and golden and the ferries bring tourists from the mainland in waves. Where almost everyone knows everyone. Its name is Gotland, and for nearly 30 years it has been carrying a secret. Christina Olofsson was 46 years old. She worked the night shift at Wisby Hotel, one of the oldest and most prestigious hotels on the island, right in the heart of Visby's medieval old town. She was a nat portier, a night receptionist, the person who stays behind when everyone else has gone home, the person who keeps watch while the world sleeps. On the night of December 11th, 1996, it was a busy evening at the hotel. There had been Christmas parties, dancing, laughter, the kind of festive warmth that fills a hotel on a dark December night in Sweden. By 2:30 in the morning, the last guests had gone to their rooms. Christina was alone. At some point before March 16th, she was seen for the last time. A hotel guest passed through the lobby. Christina was there, at her post, the way she always was. Everything seemed normal. Everything seemed fine. The guest went to the elevator, and then, on the way, something caught his attention. He heard a sound, a metallic sound, coming from the corridor that led toward the back offices, the part of the hotel where the staff worked, where the cash box was kept. He paused for a moment, then he stepped into the elevator and went up to his room. That corridor, that sound, it would haunt him, because sometime between 3:16 and 5:45 that morning, Christina Olofsson was attacked in the back corridor of the hotel she'd worked in for years with a bolt cutter, a heavy tool taken from the hotel's own storage room. Someone had come prepared, someone who knew the layout of the hotel, someone who knew where the cash box was, someone who knew that a single woman would be working alone at that hour of the night. Christina fought back. The injuries to her face and eyes tell that story. She did not go quietly, but she was alone. And she lost. At 5:55 in the morning, a waiter arrived for his early shift. He found her. Christina Olofsson was lying face down on the floor of the hotel corridor. The bolt cutter lay nearby. The cash box, containing around 13,000 Swedish krona, was gone. The police were called. 3 minutes later, the first patrol car arrived. Within hours, 15 police officers were working the case. All 60 guests still in the hotel were interviewed. Controls were tightened at the airport and the ferry terminals. No one was leaving this island without being accounted for. But the killer was already gone. Or perhaps not. Gotland is a small place. It has around 60,000 inhabitants. It is an island. You cannot drive away. You cannot simply disappear into a crowd. Everyone knows everyone, or knows someone who does. And yet, 28 years later, no one has been charged with the murder of Christina Olofsson. Not for lack of evidence, not for lack of effort. The police have conducted thousands of interviews. They have gone through hundreds of forensic samples. They have reopened the case multiple times. In 2002, in 2008, in 2018. DNA testing of new suspects, new forensic analysis, new leads followed up. Each time, a wall A month after the murder, an anonymous letter arrived at the police station, signed only, "One who is deeply affected." The writer claimed to know of a person with a criminal past who had named two individuals, two people who supposedly knew who the killer was. The letter gave names. It gave details. It was specific enough to take seriously. The two named individuals were brought in for questioning. Nothing came of it. But the letter was never forgotten. And the police, over the years, have repeatedly asked the anonymous writer to come forward, to make contact, to give them the last piece of the puzzle. So far, silence. In 2002, a 27-year-old man, a former hotel employee with a criminal record, was arrested on suspicion of involvement. He was held, he was questioned. Then he was released. The prosecutors could not bind him to the crime. Not enough evidence. Not yet. The investigation continued. In 2008, a team of 4 dedicated investigators reopened the case. They spent months going through everything again. Every interview, every forensic sample, every photograph, every statement made in the hours and days after the murder. What they found was this: the killer almost certainly had inside knowledge of the hotel. The bolt cutter came from the hotel's own storage. The route taken was not that of a stranger. The cash box was targeted specifically, not stumbled upon. This was not a random attack by someone who wandered in off the street. This was someone who knew. By 2018, the cold case unit of the Stockholm police had joined the investigation. New suspects were identified. New DNA samples were taken. In interviews conducted that year, new information had emerged. Information that pointed investigators towards specific individuals. People who had connections to the hotel. People who had been in Visby that December. The police said publicly, there are very good chances of finding the killer. And then, silence again. One of Sweden's most respected criminologists, Leif G.W. Persson, has spoken about this case on record. He said, "I have visited the crime scene myself. I can say that there is a suspect who is very likely the guilty party. But what is needed is concrete evidence that connects him to the crime." Let that sit for a moment. Sweden's most famous crime expert believes he knows who did it. The police have conducted DNA testing of specific suspects in recent years, which means they too have someone in mind. And yet, Christina's killer has never been charged. According to reports, the man at the center of suspicion is still alive. He lives in Visby. He is registered at a residential address in the city. He has a wife, a job, a normal life. On a small island, where everyone knows everyone. There are people on Gotland who think about this, almost every day. That is not a guess. That is what the people who worked with Christina have said, to journalists, to podcast makers, to anyone willing to listen, former colleagues, people who were there that night, people who have watched the years pass and the case remain open, and the killer walk free. Some of them believe they know who did it. Some of them say they have always known. Why hasn't anyone spoken? That is the question that haunts this case more than any other. Is it fear? Is the person at the center of suspicion someone people are afraid of? Is it loyalty? The complicated, painful loyalty that exists in small communities, where destroying one person can feel like destroying a world? Is it simply that the knowledge is indirect, rumor and instinct and unnamed dread, rather than the kind of hard evidence that holds up in court? We don't know. What we know is this: Christina Olofsson went to work on the night of December 11th, 1996. She kept watch while her city slept. She was alone, and someone came for her, and she fought back with everything she had. And then the island went quiet, and it has stayed quiet ever since. It is the night before Lucia. In Sweden, Lucia is a festival of light, of candles carried through the darkness, of voices singing in the cold, of the belief that even in the longest, darkest nights of the year, light will come. Christina Olofsson did not see that morning. She never saw the Lucia procession. She never saw the candles. She never made it home from her shift. Somewhere on the island of Gotland, someone knows what happened to her. Someone has known for 28 years, and they have chosen every single day to stay silent. Her name was Christina. She was 46 years old. She worked the night shift. She kept watch while the world slept. She deserved to come home. If you know something about the murder of Christina Olofsson, contact the Swedish police at +46 7711 41 400. The case is still open. It is never too late. We tell their stories so they never be forgotten. This has been the Dark Nordic.